Welcome back, everybody. My name is BluJay, and we are back at the Reverb Outpost, standing right outside of the cargo ship shell. We did a little bit of work in between episodes. If you remember in the last episode, we did not finish the front underside of the nose, and so there it is. It's completed. It looks amazing. I love it. I love it. Still not detailed. We're doing a little bit of a change of plans today, and we'll talk about that in a minute. My original plan was to do some of the detailing today, but we're not going to end up doing that, and I'll tell you what we're going to do here in just a second. But I want to just show you what we did in between episodes, and my goodness, this took so much concrete. I am just about concreted out for a little bit of time here, and I know we use a lot of it in like our subscriber barracks and Patreon armory, and we've used it in the power beam area, and now we're using it on the cargo ship. A lot of concrete goes into this base, but there's the back end, looking pretty good. Again, not detailed, not finished. I'm going to put some like jet engines in the back. Got some really cool plans, cool ideas. But it's the detailing's not going to happen today. I need a little bit of a break from it. And again, before we talk about what we're going to do today, let's jump on up this little staircase here. If we can avoid falling in that pit there we go. Up the stairs, I want to show you a little bit more of a detail thing that we added to the shell up top here. And you can see it from the front. You can't see it necessarily from the side, but we add this little like arc. It just expands the nose upwards a little bit higher, just to kind of give it a little bit more spacey, sci-fi, edgy kind of look. So I really enjoy the way that this looks. I hope you guys like it too. Again, not detailed. We're going to add some color to this. We're going to add some windows, and my, that looks amazing. I love the view. So what we are going to do today is we're going to do our best to get the input system hooked up to our auto sorting system. I'm not sure if we have enough iron to get all of the hoppers to actually go around the entire system, but we're at least going to do the input system with the item elevator and all of that redstone stuff. So let's get going right now. Before we actually get started, this guy right here, this little block of snow. I didn't realize it until 1,000 of you guys told me in the last episode that I had broken a piece of redstone, so thank you all for the heads up. It is now fixed, and we should be good to go. And I will double check all of this before we call it quits, call it finished, call the project done, because we're going to have to come around and put the actual items in to be sorted. So I'm going to check all of the wiring, all of the hoppers, all of the stuff before we actually button this up and call it a day with our sorting system. So I'm going to grab some redstone supplies that we need for the item elevator and input system, and then we'll get to building that in just a second. I've done a little work off camera, and we've got our input line. A chest will go on that top hopper there, and it will drag all of the items to the bottom. We don't have the finished hopper line just yet, but we're going to go ahead and install a couple of droppers right here to get us started, and they need to be facing upwards, so the items obviously will go upwards. And then we'll put a comparator here and a repeater here. And on the other side, we need some redstone dust, and then 6 comparators. Oh, I've only got 4, so let's go ahead and try this. We'll just do a 4 comparator pulse extender, and hope that will get us enough pulse extension. It should. It's not that tall of an elevator. So basically the problem is, if you don't know what this pulse extender is here for, it's basically to allow the signal to continue running after the last item has left the bottom dropper, after it has left the bottom dropper, so that it makes it all the way to the top and doesn't get stuck in the system. That's a common problem with item elevators, is items get stuck in the elevator somewhere in one of the droppers. A pulse extender will allow all of the items to flow to the top and get into the system like they should. So basically, this is just a little redstone clock that allows it to pulse and tick on and off just like this. And then we will continue the redstone signal on up a torch tower in just a moment. We'll hook that up in just a second. So it looks like all of the items are going through as they should. And you know what? We'll go ahead and take these out because this is not tall enough of an elevator to give us an accurate test to make sure that the extension is long enough. So let's go ahead and get these in place. And I think we are 1 block too tall. So yeah, let's go ahead and take this dropper back out. Make sure you are using droppers, not dispensers, because if you use a dispenser, if you're sorting things, ouch, ouch, ouch. Man, I'm just falling all over the place. Let's go ahead and put a block down here because I don't want to break any of my redstone. And while we're down on the floor, let's go ahead and just do our torch tower, and we'll get back to the dispenser versus dropper conversation in a second. But if you don't know what a torch tower is, it's just basically a redstone torch alternating with a block of your choosing, as long as it's not a redstone block. So I use cobblestone. So torch, cobblestone, until you are to the top of the item elevator, parallel with the top dropper right there. So the reason why it's important to use droppers instead of dispensers is because if you have items like water or lava, things like that you're putting through the system to sort, if you have water buckets and you choose to sort those, I don't think I'm going to sort anything like that, but if you do, it will dispense it instead of send it through the line. So like you'll have water going everywhere and it will destroy all your redstone and it'll just be bad news for everybody. Same thing goes for like arrows and different things that would dispense versus actually just drop out and go into the system. So use droppers for item elevators, not dispensers. And here I go breaking redstone again. Let's put that back. There we go. So I think we're ready. Let's throw our 64 stone in the system here, and theoretically, if we wait until the last piece of stone goes out of the bottom dropper, all 64 items should land in this top hopper up there, which means that our pulse extension is long enough to keep that signal running to get all of the items out of the elevator and into the sorting system. So here we go. All of the items are out of the bottom dropper. Pulse is still going, and it's shutting off. Item elevator is turned off, and 64 items in the top hopper. Perfect. So we don't need 6 comparators for our pulse extender. 4 will do for this one. Not that tall of an elevator, and honestly, the one in the sheep farm, it's not much taller than this one, so it could probably do with a 4 comparator pulse extension as well instead of 6, but we'll leave that alone because that's a finished project, and this is the one we are focusing on right now. Let's go ahead and get rid of that placeholder block and get the hoppers out here, and we will hook up our system. And there we go. If we have a chest on top of the very top hopper up there, the system should theoretically work now because it will drag the items down the hopper line into the item elevator and on up into that top hopper, which will eventually be hooked up to a massive hopper line that runs around the entire system. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough iron or enough time, for that matter, to finish this entire project before I run out of time for the video itself. So we're just going to do as much as we can. I went ahead, and most of you have probably already seen it if you're watching this video. I did a beta review on Update Aquatic, and dolphins are in the game. It's amazing. Go check that video out if you haven't seen it yet. If somehow you missed it on this channel, a lot of you have watched it already, a lot more than normally watch my survival world stuff. A lot more watched that video, so you guys seem to enjoy it. So most of you have probably already seen it, but if you haven't seen dolphins in action yet, go check out that video. It is amazing. But that goes to say, I spent some time, I believe it was yesterday. Yeah, I'm getting my days mixed up. Yesterday, I spent time working on that video, and I released it the same night. And so today, as I am recording this, it is Wednesday night, late at night, and I'm running out of time. And this video needs to go out for you guys on Thursday, so I'm going to have to just book it and see how much I can get done. And if I feel like I don't have enough time to AFK at the iron farm to gather some more iron, and, you know, chopping down trees to get chests, to make hoppers, all of that takes a while. We may end up doing something a little bit more relaxed for the remainder of this episode after we run out of iron and run out of hoppers. And then we may finish this off camera. I hate to do that 2 episodes in a row, but you guys kind of get the gist of what we're doing right here. We're basically running a hopper line around the storage system over the top of the hoppers that have the actual sorting items in them, and this is basically the distribution line. If you remember back all the way to when we started this project, I talked about there being 4 sets of hoppers, 1 in the bottom chest, 1 in the second chest, the top chest, 1 above that, which is the sorting stuff, and then the one on top of that, which we are working on right now. That's the distribution line, which actually carries all of the items around the system to find the appropriate sorting module, and then it will drop it into the appropriate chest. So that's how this whole thing works. It's finally coming together. We are so close to being done with this system. But sadly, it's probably not going to be completely finished today because I don't even know if we're going to have enough hoppers to get around the top layer. And we have 2 layers. We've got to drop the entire distribution line all the way down to the bottom row of chests and go all the way around that as well. So this is going to take quite a bit of iron, quite a bit of hoppers, quite a bit of time. So we're doing a little test here to make sure, once again, it should theoretically work because all the items landed in the top hopper of this item elevator the first time. So we're just waiting on this pulse extender to shut off, and then we will check the last hopper in the line. And if we have 64 items in that hopper, this thing is gold. Perfect! 64 items. Once we get all of the sorting items in the sorting modules, this thing is ready to go. Let's keep working on these hoppers and see how much we can get done. All right, so I'm down to my last 20 plus hoppers, and we're running out of time again. Just like it's time to start wrapping this video up, and I still got to do a comment question of the day. Still have to add somebody to the subscriber barracks, but this is the last little bit of work that we're going to do. We have 10 hoppers left. Will we be able to reach the end of the line here on the top row? I can't quite tell. 7 hoppers left. We should be exactly there. Yeah, we have 2 left now. There's 1, and then there's the last one. Perfect. So the entire first row of hoppers for the distribution line is complete. And I'm not sure how long it's going to take to do the bottom layer, but you can see it's going all the way around. And let's jump on down here. There we go. And you can see we've got the distribution line running all the way around to where it will end up over here. So all the items will travel around the sorting system to this point right back here, this hopper right here. Then we will add one that will send them downward. And the way that I've designed this is a little bit tricky, and I'll explain to you why that is as far as the bottom row goes at a later date, whenever we end up hooking up the last bit of hoppers here. But I don't have time to gather any more hoppers, so let's go ahead and do a comment question of the day. And I think what we'll try to do is maybe do a little bit of fishing to try to get some mending books and get our gear back up to the level it was before we sadly lost it again a few episodes ago. So let's get ready. We'll go get the comment question of the day book. We'll do that, and then we'll go fishing for a little bit and have a little bit of a chat. Today's comment of the day says, I suggest a green subscriber barracks. I am really liking your world and vote for you to stay in this snowy biome to continue expanding it and make it look more awesome than it already is. Frothy Rose. Well, thank you so much for that compliment. I'm glad you're thinking it's looking awesome. Let's address this comment here in just a second when we get started with our little fishing trip. All right, now that we are all set up and ready to start fishing, let's have a little chat. The first part of this comment, as you noticed, it's not a question today, it's just a comment, and I want to address it because I do address just regular comments every once in a while. I don't always answer questions, but this had enough stuff in it that I felt like we could chat about it for a few minutes. The first thing was suggesting a green subscriber barracks for the next one, because as you all probably know, if you've been keeping up with this series, we only have 1 slot left in the purple Squadron subscriber barracks. So we're going to have to add a new color, a new barracks, in the very next episode. Green was the suggestion from Frothy Rose, and quite honestly, green was the suggestion from most of you. A lot of you said green, and I've lost track of how many people it actually was. A couple people said blue probably because my name is BluJay, but we did have a light blue subscriber barracks the first time around. I'm not sure if you're talking about like just regular blue, but we have already had light blue, so I think I'm going to try something other than a blue related color. Green, I think, is what it's going to be. I've only got a few pieces of cactus, so we're going to have to work on a temporary cactus farm until we can get a much larger one set up, because I don't want to have to be running back and forth to the desert every episode to get cactus for dye, because it's going to take a lot of dye for the concrete and the beds and the stained glass and all of that. So green, I'm all on board with that. I'll see if I can make that happen. A lot of you guys suggested it, so let's try to make that happen. The other part of this comment was about staying put in the snowy biome, and if you missed the last episode, we had a little bit of a conversation about whether or not you guys wanted to take a break from this particular base and branch out into the world somewhere and start like a new quote-unquote season with another build somewhere in the world, and then come back to this at a later date. The vast majority of you guys, which honestly kind of shocked me, and I was pleasantly surprised, the vast majority of you said, no, don't leave. We absolutely love the snowy biome. We love that you are staying put here and building something big. And a lot of you guys compared it to Dallas. If you watch Dallas's series, he's been doing the same single-player Let's Play for years, and he's been building in the same location and just building up a really cool, like, home area, and there's a lot of character to it and a lot of variety, a lot of really cool stuff. Now, I don't know that we're going to stay put in this place as long as he has stayed put in his, and I'm not sure that it's going to be as expansive, because we do have a set particular theme here of the sci-fi, snowy, like mountainous kind of base. So that can only go so far before we would need to try something else, because I do want to try some other build styles at some point, but I am set in stone. We are staying here for the time being. No plans to leave just yet and start another base, start another season. We're going to stay put for a while. How long that is, I have no idea. I have no plans. I have no, I have no ideas even for what I would do or where I would go. I've tossed around a few ideas for potential future series, but nothing solid, nothing set in stone, no build mock-ups in the creative testing world, nothing like that. So green subscriber barracks probably going to happen. Yes, we're staying put in this location. As long as you guys are enjoying this series, I'm going to keep going with it because I'm enjoying it myself as well. But I think we might take a break from the cargo ship in the next episode, because I want to work on something a little bit more laid back, because we've been pushing forward pretty consistently with that for the last several episodes. Not sure what we're going to do yet, but stay tuned. I'm sure it will be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Last but not least, today we are adding the final person to the Purple Squadron subscriber barracks before we move on to a new color. And today we are going to be adding Jami, if I pronounced that correctly. 277. Jami277, welcome to the subscriber barracks. Seen your name popping up in the comment section pretty frequently, so thank you so much for being active. Welcome to the Purple Squadron. I hope you enjoy your stay at the Reverb Outpost. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time that I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I had a lot of fun. It doesn't look like we got a ton of progress done today, but the input system and the resource gathering for the hoppers for half the distribution line that we got finished took a while, and it is quite a bit of work, and we got it done. We still need to do the bottom half of the distribution line for the bottom set of modules, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do that off camera or if I'm going to do that in another episode, but we are going to take a break from the cargo ship probably for the next episode or so. I want to get it functional for the next world download, which is coming up in episode 45, but I don't think we're going to finish the aesthetics of it just yet, because that's going to take a little while. I am just so burnt out on gathering concrete, back and forth to the desert, back and forth to the mines, getting the ink sacs, and all the stuff that went into getting concrete. I need a little bit of a break from that so I don't get burnt out on this project. So we're going to do something fun in the next episode. Not 100% sure what that is yet, but we're going to work on a smaller project, and we will do that together in the very next episode. But for now, my name is BluJay, and I've got to fly on out of here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.